Good evening this evening, and welcome back to a live call-in show edition of the OHIO podcast. I am your hostess with the mostest. I am the Podfather, aka Buckeye Boggs, also known to you all as Eric. And you are you, and we're thankful to have each and every single one of you in tonight for the call-in show. Phone lines are open 567-483-1999. Call us up, dial it up. Let's talk about it. Let's chat about it. Tell me what you've seen this week out there in Buckeye Nation land. Before you do anything else, however, don't forget to, that's right, smash that like button. It's what keeps us going. It does its little magic out there in YouTube land and somehow finds these little algorithms to connect to like viruses and shoots them onto everybody's home pages. And some Buckeye fan like yourself would be like, I wonder what this is all about. He clicks on it and finds one of the coolest communities out there and you all in the chat and says, you know what? These crazy Buckeye fans, these lunatic fringe people are my kind of people. And they end up joining the show. So tonight, I had an interesting encounter with a Notre Dame fan yesterday on the Always Irish show, and I want to talk about it. And I invited said fan onto tonight's show, invited him to call in, said, we will build the entire show around you, my friend, to feed your narcissistic ego. We shall see if they appear. I don't see him in the chat yet, but when he does, if he does, maybe we'll get to experience him and find out if he's actually more than just the 12-year-old that I think he was. But I digress. By the way, Burks will back me up on this one. This dude was crazy with a capital C, dude. So here's the gist of it. And callers, I'll be coming to you next. But here's the gist of it. This Notre Dame fan believes that if Notre Dame would have had all of their starters who weren't quote unquote injured in the game, they would have defeated Ohio State in the national championship game, and that Ohio State's national championship win over Notre Dame wasn't impressive because those guys weren't in the game. That was his entire defense in this thing was that their win, Ohio State's win in national championship against the team he's rooting for, mind you, wasn't impressive because they had quote unquote starters out of the game who are injured, who, by the way, weren't available against Penn State, weren't available against Georgia, and weren't available against Indiana, but somehow they managed to beat those three teams in the playoffs. How's that even possible? I mean, you would think you would have lost one of those games, but maybe it's because Ohio State actually had a much better, deeper roster than what you had in South Bend, Indiana. That's the story I'm sticking to tonight because I think that that individual was just a little bit delusional in his thinking. I invited him on the show. I said, you know what? Let's talk about it. You can call in. You can defend your stance on this. I will listen to the points that you want to make about that. We'll see if he calls in. I doubt it. Most of the people that I invite to call in when we're having a disagreement in a chat, they somehow magically don't come in, don't show up. However, one person who I've had this conversation with has been a man of his word. He's called in, and guess what? We worked out our differences. He's become a pretty good dude. And that's our first caller tonight. He's known to you all as Caden the Man. Welcome to the podcast tonight, Caden. How's it going, buddy?
Eric, how's it going, my brother from another mother?
Well, this brother from another mother is absolutely having a fantastic evening. How are you doing, Caden? How's your night?
Oh, had some nice dinner. Finishing up some truck project ideas I'm trying to get put together, but that list has taken me a lot longer than I should have thought about it. But other than that, My brain's 100% fine. And Eric, did you say an Notre Dame fan?
I did.
Are we talking about John Kennedy, that Notre Dame fan?
No, it wasn't John. It was not John. It was someone in his chat that was trying to stir the pot, shall we say. But yeah, no, it wasn't John. John knows better.
Well, I tell you what, Eric, if I had to be a betting man, I would bet either John nor his buddy would show up on this show because they know that we know two facts about the national championship game against Notre Dame. One, Ohio State was the better team, and Notre Dame complaining about having an injured roster. That's just one of the more excuses that Notre Dame had to put out there. I mean, come on. Y'all, even if y'all were healthy, y'all are still no match to a very highly talented and well-rounded and locked and loaded Ohio State team. Let's get that fact straight, shall we?
100%, dude. 100%. Listen, Notre Dame is probably a year or two away from honestly competing for a national championship. They've got pieces.
I honestly just call them Notre Lame because they are lame as heck. Boring.
They're not that lame. They did make it all the way to a national championship game. Let's not try to sit here and let's not try to sit here and discredit from the work that they've put in to get to where they got. They did go 3-1 in the CFP.
Yeah, well, they got lucky and made it, but then when they had to face a good team like Ohio State, they got whooped. And when they got whooped, they cried, moaned, they whined like a bunch of babies.
Well, I think some of them in their fan base has. Yes, I think there are others who have been singing, reality. Reality. Basically, that national championship game was a big dose of reality to them. Okay, they're not there yet. Kennedy even admitted it. We're not there yet. We're not that good yet. Um, they were good enough to beat Georgia. They were good enough to beat Penn State. Although I think James Franklin beats Penn State. They were good enough to beat in-state foe Indiana, but they're not quite Ohio State good. Ohio State had a generational roster. Let's call it like it is, right? Ohio State was much more athletic, bigger, stronger, faster, and deeper in the roster than where Notre Dame was. Now, I will say this, okay? This was year number 3 of Marcus Freeman. This was year number 6 of Ryan Day. Marcus Freeman is on the same trajectory as Ryan Day was, except one major factor. Ryan Day was handed a much better program to maintain and build from than what Marcus Freeman was. That's how I think. I believe it. So there's that aspect.
Eric, sorry to interrupt you, but I completely agree with you. Although there's some parts, but honestly, I 100% completely agree with you. And Eric, I just call Notre Dame the way that they are, in my opinion. Now that's just me being an Ohio State fan who's just got a lot more nerves made out of steel, but that's just probably me.
I got you. No, that's fine, man. I mean,
sorry about that, Eric.
No, that's all right. You're good, buddy. You're fine. No, I respect your feelings on the program in South Bend, dude. I get you. I mean, you don't have to like them. I'm just trying to be truthful with you. I think Marcus Freeman is a much better coach for them than their previous predecessor and Brian Kelly. I think Brian Kelly is one of the most overrated coaches in all of college football. I've felt that for a long time.
Now, I completely understand where you're coming from, Eric. But the thing is, when they played Georgia, we were the team that softened up the dogs, all right? We were the team that really gave Georgia some problems. let's remind the audience, Ohio State is the only team to go 60 minutes up and down the road and only come close to 1 second of beating a very good, well-rounded, very physical Georgia Bulldog team who went back-to-back in national championships. So let's just remind the ladies and gents, boys and girls, and everybody else in the audience that's the same Ohio State team who went toe-to-toe with Georgia in their own home turf.
It was. You're absolutely right. And let me if we're going to have revisionist history with the national championship game, which obviously we are tonight, then let's go and look at this factor, shall we, Caden? Notre Dame came out and they drove it down our throats and scored the opening touchdown. But then what happened after that? They didn't drive.
He fired back.
They didn't drive that way the rest of the game. They literally shot their shot and they had no bullets left in that gun, which tells me they just didn't have the depth to play that style of game with Ohio State once Ohio State adjusted. And their running back Love, what did he really do after the first drive? And by the way, the first drive was mostly the quarterback. It wasn't him. But what did Love do? He did nothing that game, right? And that was their hope. Literally, John Kennedy is Princess Leia saying to Love, "You're my only hope." Like, Obi-Wan Kenobi, you're my only hope. That was literally what they had offensively. And when that was taken away from them, it took a monumental comeback on their part and the defense letting off the gas just to get within 8 points of Ohio State when it was all said and done, right? Or 11 points, whatever it was, after the field goal. So, all that being said, Caden, I just, Notre Dame is not there yet. They're a good team. They're going to make the college football playoff more times than not because it's set up that for them to do so, right? Their schedule's pretty easy every single year. They have a couple hard games, just like most teams in the SEC and the Big Ten. As long as they go 10-2 every year, which they should given that schedule, there's no reason to think Notre Dame won't be back in the college football playoff again and again and again. Eventually, he's going to have a good enough roster. He's going to crack through and win the big one. That's just kind of my feelings on it. But I also understand the people who say, I'll believe it when I see it.
And I'm one of those people, to be honest with you, Eric, because as long as Ohio State is a top-tier team and has a roster that is so loaded, and now that our defensive coordinator side of the ball now of the game is now even more loaded, we're really going to be a force to be reckoned with. And I said this before, and I'll say it again to the audience, Eric, if you don't mind. Beware of Ohio State's defense, because that defense is going to eat all Saturday afternoon. And we all damn know that, Eric. We all know that on this channel, Ohio State defense will reload, lock and load, and just destroy anybody that they see.
Time out, dude. I know you're the man, but we're replacing 8 starters on defense and a defensive coordinator. You mean to tell me you think our defense is going to be as good or better than they were last year? Is that what you're saying?
Yes, I am, Eric, and I'm not stuttering about it. Because let me tell you another fact, too, Eric. Ohio State's not the only team in this scenario that happened that actually went back to the national championship undefeated and destroyed their schedule. Georgia just happened to be the team that also did it, too. So it can happen, Eric. There is the possibility of that.
Yeah, in 2021 and 2022 is what you're talking about, when Georgia won back-to-back national championships. However, that's the same Georgia team who you just mentioned Ohio State had on the ropes, lost by 1-2. If we don't let our foot off the gas offensively and we get in better field goal range, maybe that game's different. And or they don't overturn the targeting call in the end zone on Marvin Harrison Jr., then that again probably is a completely different story there. So
no, I was just saying, Eric, like, it could happen. Ohio State could just go out there and just absolutely destroy everyone on our schedule, and including that team up north whose fans we had to talk about last week, who I literally lit up last week. And I told them that hell was coming for them in Ann Arbor. And I promise you that's still a fact. So let's be clear about that too. But as far as the Notre Dame fans are concerned, I'm going to lead them with the same warning because I'm going to warn them Ohio State is a whole different machine when you get them locked, loaded, and more fired up. You put more gasoline on the fire, you know it's going to be burning a lot brighter and a lot hotter. And when it burns a lot hotter, guess what? It's going to destroy more things. It's going to burn more things to the ground.
Okay.
So Notre Dame fans,
All right.
I'm just
Listen,
going to warn you.
Caden, I love
Beware of destruction.
I love your emotion. I love your enthusiasm. Okay, I like your faith, but give me three reasons outside of just feeling an emotion. Three reasons why this defense will be as good or better than they were in 2024, where they were the best defense in college football. Give me three reasons. Can you give me
You want
three?
you want three reasons, Eric?
Yep.
Isn't it three simple reasons?
Okay.
Number one, Matt Patricia now is our defensive coordinator.
Yeah.
Now, this is the same person who was at New England with Bill Belichick, one of the greatest coaches of the NFL, who won 6 Super Bowls and who led a very good New England Patriots team. He did not coach for the last 4 years, but that probably gave him the time to maybe prepare for this moment. Number two, our recruiting class and also the transfer portal is really loading up our team now with a lot of guys from outside of Ohio State, but also the recruiting process is a whole lot better this year. And there's a lot of defensive studs coming out and going to Ohio State. And number three, with Ryan Day as the head coach and his great mind, and now that he's won a national championship, this is the confidence that is really going to boost our defense. And with, like I said, with Matt Patricia, we're really going to dominate. Really
All right.
good
So
this year, Matt.
so
Eric.
you're leaning on the fact that you believe Matt Patricia is a better defensive coordinator than what Jim Knowles was, essentially. You're stating that our recruiting in the past years has been better under Ryan Day than in the previous, 3 or 4 years of him being a head coach. Therefore, we're not rebuilding, we're reloading on that side of the ball, which I hear you. And then your third one is that Ryan Day now will lean on that experience of being a national championship coach and can lean heavier on the defensive side to give the motivation that they need to continue to sustain what they've done. Those are your three reasons. Did I
But I've also have one more
Okay,
reason
give me a
too,
fourth one.
Eric, if I may add. And now that since we've won that national championship, and that now that we really got back to where we should have been, this is now the part of the season now for Ohio State fans, and not only just the fans, but this is the sign that's saying this is the beginning of the Ohio State era. This is the beginning of the true national champions ruling college football. And I say that with all my confidence in my soul and heart.
All right. So
Just saying, Eric.
the dynasty uploading. Gotcha. All right, man, Caden. We got a couple more callers we need to get to. He's Caden the man. Everybody, go check him out on his YouTube channel. Caden, thanks for calling in, buddy. OH.
Yes, sir. NIO.
Moving right along, Tyler. What's going on, buddy?
Hey, Eric. I wanted to go off topic.
Okay, let's go off topic, Tyler. What do you want to bring to the table, buddy?
So I want to bring up what Bryce Underwood said.
I knew you wanted to. Listen, Tyler. When I saw that you were second in there, I literally thought to myself, I wonder if I just go straight to Tyler's phone call, or do I address Bruce Underwear instead of Bryce Underwood, Bruce Underwear as I call him, his stupid comments before Tyler comes on, because I know Tyler's going to want to talk about this. So that being said, do you want to take the floor first and then let me give my sermon, or would you like to hear the sermon first, Tyler?
The floor is yours first, Eric.
Thank you. I will give you a brief sermon, and then Tyler, I will let you respond. Mr. Underwood, before you open your mouth and you dish out, shall we say, prophetic um, words of wisdom to your fan base, maybe you should win a game first. How about that? I know you've got a big fat bank account because you've got everybody in Ann Arbor falling at your feet, but you've not taken one snap in college football yet, and yet you think you have the gall to tell LeBron James that Ohio State is finished. Well, what makes you think you're going to be able to do what no one else before you has done, including the greatest quarterback in NFL history, and somehow finish Ohio State? Even when you beat us 13-10 and planted your stupid flag on the 50-yard line, you didn't finish Ohio State. You know why? Because Ohio State is still today, tomorrow, and forever will be better than your program. Because, my friends, we can do something you can't do. We can win without cheating. Take that to the bank. Tyler, the floor is yours.
The funniest part about this to me is, first of all, how did you get LeBron's phone number?
Probably found it in the yellow pages. I don't know.
Second of all, what is also funny to me about this is, so are we going to just ignore what the rest of the quarterbacks have done previous to you, other than J.J. McCarthy, who is also going to lose all his wins too? And I don't even care about the Davis Warren game, because it was null and void because we won the national championship. So, like, Bryce Underwood, the Ohio State Buckeyes are going to live long after you're gone. They're going to live long after I'm gone. They're going to live long after you're gone, Eric. So who do you think you are to say that, oh, it's going to be over for Ohio State? Like, that takes some serious cojones to say, Eric.
Yeah, it's naive. It's naiveness, right? It's it's the kid who who graduates from college, walks into his new place of employment, looks at somebody who's been doing that job for 20 years and thinks because he has a piece of paper that gave him that he paid, that his mom and daddy paid for, more than likely, that he gets to tell that guy who's a 20-year vet how to do his job. That guy's going to laugh at him, and literally he's going to laugh at him when the kid goes out the door crying at the end of the day. Listen, respect is not given, respect is earned. That's reality in life. This kid is obvious to me that things have come easy to him, and I think reality is going to smack him in the face this year. I really do.
Absolutely. And the other thing that really bothers me about this is, not only does he have the gauze to say that, like say that it's over for Ohio State, which is a very broad statement. What do you mean by it's over? First of all, and also, you're going on Rich Eisen's show, who is also one of the biggest Michigan fans of them all.
Yeah, Michigan grad. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he's a Michigan grad as well, and it's like, so Rich Eisen just laughing his butt off the whole time, thinking that this is the greatest thing since sliced bread. And like, but
it's because
seriously, like,
Tyler, it's because the entire TTUN fanosphere is a perpetual circle of literally eating each other's bullcrap. That's all they do. They literally just sit there, eat each other's bullcrap, and then when they get outside of that sphere of their own maize and blue a fan circle, um, they have pumped themselves up enough that they can then think that they can go on national television or radio or on an Ohio State podcast and spew that nonsense all they want to because they think in their mind it's true because all they have done is lied to themselves over and over and over again, Tyler. That's what they do.
Hey, they got a big old hole in this one.
they just circle the drain. They just do like it's every single year. It's the same thing every year. They're talking about it's Ohio State, and everyone talks down Ohio State, thinking that we're not going to be great, and they think that if we try to verbally put bulletin board on for everyone to see on Twitter because they know Ohio State fans are going to latch on it. Like it's all for clicks. It's all for like attention because they know Ohio State fans are going to watch. They know it, and it's intentional. And honestly, like Bryce Underwood, you have a lot of growing up, my guy, because you're going to crap your pants when you play us. You might not even play us.
I hope he doesn't stop talking. I hope he keeps talking. I hope he's the biggest smack talker we've ever seen. Because I'll tell you straight up right now, there's nothing more satisfying than shutting the mouth of someone whose mouth never stops talking. If you're an athlete at all, if you've played sports at all, there's nothing better than hitting a shot if you play basketball in the face of someone who's just been talking trash all game with you, man. There's nothing better than that. Um, there's nothing better than going in there and just laying the wood to the quarterback on a blitz, and you go untouched, and you put your face mask right in their chest, and you hear them go "ooh" when you throw them to the ground. Right? There's nothing better than that. So. I hope he doesn't stop talking. I hope he talks more than we've ever heard any Michigan player talk before in our lives, because there would be nothing greater than shutting that crap up, man.
So, that's another question I have too, and those percolating my brain, and when I saw this too, Eric, is the what 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 in their Michigan's brains, like what is there in their players' brains, their fans, their coaches, their their coaches, their players, what in their brain makes them think that if I want to be a bully, it's going to give me the results that I am looking for, that I'm going to win and make everyone feel bad. And also, let's not forget, too, these bullies try to bully Michigan State. And
Right.
when they play basketball against them.
It's their culture. It's literally in their culture, Tyler.
They got right on top of that stop sign. Like, darn, that's kind of close. Right.
So it is their culture, but why exactly in their culture do they want to act like bullies, Eric?
Usually a bully acts that way because inside he's scared. So it's his way of lying to himself. Most bullies I've encountered, they talk a big game until you get them face to face, and when they realize you're not scared of them anymore, all of a sudden they coward. You know, that's what most bullies do. Which is one of the reasons why I think Ryan Day tried to beat them at their own game, was he took the approach of we're going to bully the bully. But having a bully mentality and then scripting a game that fits their strengths are two different things. And I think Ryan Day learned that lesson the hard way this year. But I digress. That's just my 2 cents, Tyler. That's what I believe, man.
I think I completely agree, and I think Ryan Day like you said, he learned the hard way, and it's like, hey, I'd rather learn the hard way, and so we can go up in Ann Arbor and we beat them, and we can watch all their fans leave the the outhouse, and then they'll go home crying, saying, "Oh, we thought we were going to beat Ohio State, and because we claimed it, Ohio State's over. We said it. We said it. Bryce Underwood said it."
Yeah,
So
they think we're finished, but we're just as you and Caden said, maybe we're just getting started. Maybe that's the case. Maybe we're just getting started. Tyler, any last thoughts, man, before we go to the next caller, brother?
no, I don't, Eric. But oh wait, I do. I got one thing.
Gotcha.
Hey, everyone in the chat, try to be respectful this evening. I just want. I don't want the same thing to happen on Sundays.
Thank you, Tyler. Appreciate you being the wrench, brother. Appreciate you, man. Have a good one. OH.
Kyle.
There you go. Y'all heard it from Tyler, man. Y'all need to straighten up, he said. Straighten up. Usually that doesn't happen on our call-in shows. Usually Thursday night we're pretty good. It's Sunday nights for some reason that seem to get a little bit wonky. They get out of line a little bit. TG, what's happening, girl?
Yo, what up, Eric? How you been, man?
Good show tonight, man.
Thanks. Hey, look, I had those in the show notes because as soon as I saw that Maze Madman's little video, I had to say, okay, I'm gonna really hurt your feelings now. Your feelings, his feelings was clearly hurt when I said, look, Michigan can lose their bootleg status because they haven't done anything in 80 years. So clearly he felt some kind of way. I hope he watches that and still feels some kind of way.
Oh, I don't give those guys any attention at all. I just don't.
No, I do for this reason because I like poking fun at them and I like actually making them think what happens if Ohio State becomes the next dynasty and your program falls into irrelevancy. I love watching them cry. Watch them cry about it.
Yeah.
The whole reason he started that video was just because of me. That's why.
Yeah, no, I think it's great, man. I only have so much time in my day, and I try to fill it with like positive things, and I just get angry when I watch that stuff. So I try to steer away from from anything maize and blue. What's on your mind tonight,
I
girl?
don't get mad at it. I just laugh at it.
I hear you.
I don't get mad at it. I just laugh at it. I will say, actually, I will say my mind is pretty much on Ohio State as far as what do you think the team will look like next year as far as the tight end room? What you think of Jelani?
Ooh, well, are you specifically want to talk about just the tight end room?
Specifically, mainly Jelani, because there have been questions, and then I also want to talk about CJ Hicks.
Okay, let's start with Jelani. I'm like the state of Missouri, TG. You need to show me first. I've seen a lot of flashing from the young man. I've seen times when he's done a great job blocking. I see the athleticism. I just don't see the consistency, and I think his lack of play at times shows me that there's a big inconsistency on the at least on the practice field or maybe in the film room. That's just my feelings on the situation. I think last year there was a huge opportunity for him to take the bull by the horns when Case Merrick went down with an injury, and it obviously didn't happen for him. If they had a tremendous belief in him, I don't know that they go out in the transfer portal and go out and grab who they did from Purdue. So for me,
I
go ahead.
No, I'm listening to you. I said, okay,
Oh, okay.
keep going.
So all of that being said, I'm kind of like Missouri here. Show me. I hope he's motivated. I hope that this unlocks something inside of him that causes him to say, you know what? I've been at Ohio State longer than both of these guys who transferred in. I bleed more scarlet and gray than they do, and I'm going to go out there in the practice field and I'm going to show them that I'm the man. And I think if he shows that maturity and he shows that, hey, I've grown into this, I know the playbook better, I'm doing what you're asking me to do, I think he is an untapped potential. He could be a star in the making. But it's a lot of show me what you got here because I just haven't seen it yet.
If I told you that he was really putting in the work in the off season, like more than he ever has before, would you believe me? Eric?
That makes me feel a little better. I don't know that I'm all. I
The
don't.
reason I'm saying this, the reason I'm saying this is because Melo has showed me what he's been doing. And I think you guys could look on social media and see the fact that he has been putting in the work. I do think Ohio State believes in Jelani, which is why they got Max Clear, because they need more competition in that room. What is it that we always say? Competition brings out the what in everybody.
Well, it's either gonna the cream's either gonna rise to the top or it's not gonna be there. You know, it's iron sharpens iron.
Exactly. That's the purpose that I'm doing this, because they want Jelani to get better. Because I think Jelani, actually, I will say this: I've seen Jelani improve in this category, blocking, because he was pancaking dude.
Yeah,
I loved watching Jelani block.
Yeah, like I said,
I love that.
saw
like,
it.
That's where he's grown. Yeah, that's where he's grown. Now where he needs to grow is consistency in pass catching, because he has flashes in pass catching. Now it's time for him to get more consistent at that. If he could put it all together, he's that guy to me. I think he's the best tight end in the room. And I think this is why they're bringing in a guy like Max Clear, because he can help Jelani. He can push Jelani. He can challenge him. And, hey, he's already doing it with Will Kazmarek. There. I think with Jelani having this competition, it's going to motivate him and keep his engine turned on. It's going to keep him focused the entire time. So that way he can bring out the best every single day.
That's an interesting take, TG. I like that. I like that angle. I haven't thought of that before. That's an interesting angle. Props to you, girl, for coming up with that. You got me thinking now.
Yeah, that's why I bring this up, because I know, trust me, I get why we say this with guys like Jelani, because we know that it's kind of the same thing of when you have to think about it with Tigla, because with Austin Saravel, he could take his spot at right guard.
Sure.
So how hard do you think Tedra's going to work to keep his job?
Hopefully.
That's how I look at Jelani, because he knows this is time for me to put up or shut up.
Right.
I gotta go out there and get it going.
Right.
So him putting in this hard work that I've seen him put in the off season gives me so much confidence that he's going to be. Him and Max, I think, are two stud tight ends, will be two of the best tight ends we've had in a while. Since, I would say, Jeremy Ruckert and Luke Farrell. And those guys never really had a chance to show what they could truly do until the Clemson game. We saw how good tight ends those guys were.
The other angle to this, TG, that you need to think about is how is the offense going to change with Brian Hartline calling the plays?
It's going to be more pass heavy, mainly because of our running back room. Like, we need to pass to open up the run this time around.
I think
you'll see it change depending on the personnel, right? Like, if the running backs get better, they can run the ball more and not have to, like, pass the ball and really put pressure. But I also do think you're going to see the running backs get involved in the pass game as well.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting. That whole aspect of Brian Hartline as the play caller could be very interesting to see. Now, I agree with you, TG. I hope we pass to open the run, because that's where our experience lies with the receiver room. But the tight ends are going to be a huge part of that. And I was really looking forward to
Yep.
seeing year number 2 in Chip Kelly's offense with a pair of tight ends that he kind of wanted. You know what I mean? Don't forget,
Yeah.
Max came here before he left. So
Mm-hmm. I'm gonna say this. I think that with Keenan Bailey being in the room and what he's done with the tight end room, I think you're gonna see the tight ends be very much more involved, especially with the talent he's now bringing in. Because the talent he's bringing in, this is a different set of talent that we've ever seen at Ohio State in the tight end room.
it
So
is.
I think you're gonna see the tight ends be more involved.
Yeah, tight ends were glorified left tackles at Ohio State. they just
Yeah.
were.
Yeah, for years.
Mm-hmm. All right, let's talk.
Yeah, they were.
Let's talk.
And now,
Let's talk Hicks. Let's move on to Hicks. I am so intrigued to hear what you're about to say because, well, I'm going to say this. Oh my gosh, you got to be freaking kidding me. Hold on, TG. I got to address this. The Amish Podfather. Dude, really? My man. I even trimmed it up, brother. I trimmed it up. All right. Back to CJ here. Back to CJ. All right. What's your take?
okay. So if you guys have listened to my podcast, the podcast episode I did with Sean, I talked about this in a rant where I believe CJ Hicks is like Baron Browning,
Mm-hmm.
Jonathan Cooper, and Jerome Baker, as far as a linebacker who is more of a, how we had the jack position under Jim Knowles, but we didn't really use it.
Yeah, we talked about it until we were blue in the face. We never saw anything.
Yeah, well, here's how I look at it. I look at him as that, except I look at him more so how he's like T.J. Watt in the NFL. He's like Micah Parsons. Abdul Carter would even be the most recent type of guy I would compare him to, as well as Will Anderson Jr. from Alabama. He's a linebacker who's all about playing on the line of scrimmage. It's where he's at his best. He's an outside linebacker. That's what he is. He's not your traditional type of linebacker. Like all the issues CJ has been him being forced to play traditional linebacker, which is not who he is. Mentally, he doesn't understand how to play that position. He doesn't get it. Like physically, he can play it, but you can see on the field he's thinking too much because he can't read what he's seeing. He doesn't know what he's doing. He's confused. He doesn't want to make a mistake. He's just overthinking himself. But putting him at the line of scrimmage, allowing him to play a little bit more free, because I do think at the line of scrimmage, you have to be able to read the offense, but you don't have to do it to the extent in which you have to do it at linebacker. With him, you could do with him what you did with JTT and Jack Sawyer, where you put him at the edge to stop the run, but first you got to build up his body to do that, but you could put him in as a pass rusher first, and then have him drip off to like pass coverage like you did with Jack and JT. Off the line of scrimmage, you just blitz linebackers. I think if they do that, you're going to see CJ have more production than what he did. Because I'm not going to lie, if they kept him at linebacker, he's not going to have any more production than what he did. If you put him at edge, he's gonna do better. I think he's still got more to learn, but he's going to do better than what he's done before.
Okay. Let me address what you said. I agree with you 100% about the linebacker position for him. It wasn't going to happen. It's never going to happen. It's not a fit for him. If you move him to the defensive end / stand up defensive end, whatever you want to call it. How
stand up right now?
Right, but how are you going to play him to get production? What, third down rush specialist? Is that, because that's really the only angle I see here. I'm not putting him on the field and taking off Caden Curry or Kenyatta Jackson Jr. on first or second down. I'm just not.
Not yet. He's got to grow into that. So I would say for now, it would be that. I would say if you really had to look at it, look at what Penn State's done with their linebackers, how they had those guys playing at linebacker first, and had them rushing off rushing from the second level on down. You see what I'm saying? And then when they built them up properly, built up their bodies and got them better and taught them how to play on the line of scrimmage, then they started becoming your outside linebackers you put on the line of scrimmage who could play your every down type of position. I think that's what you do with them. That's what you do with CJ Hicks. You do what Penn State's done with their linebackers, what Alabama's done, what even LSU did with a linebacker that was in CJ Hicks' class. You don't put these guys on the line of scrimmage right away. You literally set them up first as third down pass rushing specialists. Then as time goes on, you start using that more. What I mean by using that more is you start incorporating that into more passages where you can use them on an every down sense as far as pass rushing. You keep building up their body, building up their confidence. You keep teaching them, and then eventually you can start putting them on the D line at some point. I think with CJ, he has 2 years left at Ohio State this year and next year. So I think he has a little bit of time, but I think that's what you should have done, or that's what they should have done with him, like what they did with Mitchell Melton. Because whether people know it or not, Mitchell Melton came in as a linebacker. They instantly knew he wasn't going to be a linebacker. They put him at edge straight up, built up his body, allowed him to become what he became for us this year, because he was an important piece of the defense this year. And I know his impact is sorely going to be missed by Ohio State because of what impact he was able to do for this team, how you were able to take Jack, JT, Kenyatta, and Caden off the field to put in Mitchell Melton. I think that's what CJ Hicks could be, exactly what Mitchell Melton is. But it's going to take them developing him for him to get to that point.
If CJ Hicks is used like Mitchell Melton this year, I don't know that he would stick around. I'm just being honest with you.
I'm saying you develop him first. Like Mitchell Melton didn't start off that way. He got built into that as time went on.
Right, but even Mitchell Melton wasn't utilized a whole lot this year. I mean, he was a little bit, but his snaps weren't very much.
Important. I'm gonna say this: in important situations, because he was used in the Natty, he was used during the playoff run. And I'm not going to lie, I think this is also why he transferred, because I think he knew he wasn't going to get a whole lot of playing time. Plus,
exactly.
I think CJ is way more talented than Mitchell Melton.
Yeah,
I think CJ is way more talented than Mitchell Melton.
He went to Virginia because his production is about to go through the roof compared to what it would have been here at Ohio State.
Oh yeah.
And I'm being worried. I'm being totally honest with you. That I think I'm worried that CJ might fall into that same category. Now, maybe we'll see something different here. Again, I'm doing the same thing with you on this topic. I'm kind of being Missouri here. Show me. I want to see it first. But I'll say this, TG. I like your approach. And I feel like if that's the approach that they're going to take, it absolutely could lead to him being a weapon by the end of the year. It absolutely could be.
It absolutely could. If they do it right and they develop him, again, it's going to take a little bit of time, but you got to keep his confidence going. I think there's a reason why they brought in Matt Patricia, because he would know how to use a guy like CJ Hicks. He has done that before.
Mm-hmm.
He did it during his time with the Patriots. So he knows how to use a guy like CJ Hicks. That's why I think, and again, CJ has to show me, because as much as I believe in him, he has to show me.
Yeah, there you go. Now you sound like the Podfather.
I believe.
Now you sound like the Podfather. I'm going to have to start calling you the
Pod. I believe in him. I 100% do.
I'm going to start calling you the Pod Sister. You keep sounding like me. TG, everybody, go check her out over at the Buckeye Boys. Her and Sean Schrock do a show on Thursdays and some other days. She's on there all the time, guys. She's fantastic. She'll be our guest on April 6th, I believe it is, here on Sunday night on our Roundtable show. TG, thanks for calling in, girl. OH.
Oh, by the way, Eric.
Yes.
One more thing. You know my email I sent you to send me the stuff for April 6th?
I didn't get it.
You didn't get it? Oh, because if you did, I was actually going to end up telling you that I'm going to send you a brand new email that I actually have.
Just email me the brand new one, because I didn't get it, girl. theohiopodcast@gmail.com. Okay?
All right.
All right. Take care, girl.
Take care.
All right, we're just moving right along tonight. The night. Here we go. Ray, what's going on, brother?
How you doing, buddy?
I'm great, Ray. How are you?
Well, I got 3 shots down. I got one more to go in 2 weeks, and once I get that one, I'm back to running forward and backwards.
I got that reverse working, huh?
Yeah, I'm hoping. Anyways, I haven't had a chance to watch Scoop, but they say they got some updates on Michigan scandal. You heard anything?
I've heard a few things. It sounds like the NCAA and NCAA has issued some stuff. Michigan responded by basically saying that the NCAA is overreaching. Haven't heard a definitive date yet, but Ray, just buckle up. This thing's going to the courts, man. I've been telling everybody, Michigan's going to drag this thing out in the courts. It's just that's my feeling about things. I don't get too excited about it, Ray, because the NCAA is about as fast as a turtle trying to cross I-71. It's not good.
Yeah, I found out of that about 2 years and 2 months ago.
Yeah, exactly.
They do drag things out.
Yes, they do. Yes, they do. Ray,
you mean to tell me if they lay these penalties down, they can appeal it through all the court systems before they can? Don't they have to get an injunction or something from for the NCAA to keep the suspension from not happening?
I don't know all the legalese, to be 100% honest with you. I'm not a lawyer. I didn't stay at a Holiday Inn Express last night, Ray. But I just know that Michigan's a school full of lawyers, which makes perfect sense to me because most lawyers are a bunch of liars.
Yeah.
But
they are liars and thieves, just like
right.
they are liars and thieves.
And they're gonna drag this thing out, man. They're gonna find a way to drag this thing into the court system. And the NCAA's track record in the court system is not very good, but we'll see. Maybe I'll be wrong. I hope I'm wrong.
I come in late. Where's your sidekick, Chris?
Chris started his own call-in show on Monday nights. So you can come. You can come
this is Thursday night.
Well, you can come here on Monday night and call Chris, and you can call me on Thursday nights to talk to either one of us.
Okay. You're going to be doing solos, both of you?
Yeah, he's going to be solo on Mondays. I'm solo on Thursdays. Corey's going to be doing his show, recording his show, and then we'll post that one evening. Just it'll be a recording. You can watch it at your own leisure. And then our Sunday night shows will always still be at 8:00. So 8:00 Sunday night.
Wow, you're breaking them all loose. How about getting one for the legend?
For you? You want one, buddy? I listen, man.
Yeah, the legend.
Ray, you would probably do better than all of us, man.
I'm just kidding with you. I don't know. Getting a beautiful day tomorrow, huh?
Oh my gosh, this weather's been fantastic, hasn't it been?
I know. We had another lucky winter. I'm hoping it stays like this for the rest of the year. What's your favorite baseball team?
The Cincinnati Reds.
You know, when Johnny Benson was around, he was a big Red Machine man, but now I'm a Cleveland Indians fan now.
Thank you for calling them the Indians. I refuse to call them the Guardians.
I don't, man. I got Indian stuff on my jacket, and people tell me, "Hey, man, I thought they were the Guardians." I said, "Not for me. They're always going to be the Cleveland Indians."
Yep. I know some Native Americans. I've got Cherokee blood in me, by the way. Every Native American I've ever spoke to, they think it's stupid that they changed the name from the Indians. Every one of them.
Well, what about all the other teams? They still kept the names. Kansas City Chiefs.
Right, the Chiefs, the Florida State Seminoles, the Atlanta Braves. Yeah.
We're so offended so easy in this world anymore.
I know.
I mean, they were like that for 110 years. So why you got to change their
Listen, when you look like I do, and you wake up and you look at yourself in the mirror, you learn how to just let go of things, man. It's Oh,
People are crazy on some of their thinking. I don't know. Anyways, anything new on the draft status of our players coming up in the draft or anything like that?
well, I do have one bit of information that shocked me. Are you ready for this? They are
Okay.
predicting that the last Buckeye to get drafted out of the 15 guys that'll get drafted, the last one to get drafted is the center, Seth McLaughlin. That is shocking to me. He is much
Really?
better than that. Yes, they think he won't get drafted to the end of the draft.
Wow. Because of that injury?
It has to be. I can't imagine like Seth McLaughlin, like sign like if I'm the Cincinnati Bengals or the Cleveland Browns and he's sitting there in the 6th round, dude, what you have to draft him. He is after he heals up, man. Like that kid's gonna be a 10-year vet. Like you plug
Well,
him
look
in.
at the offensive tackle Simmons. They're talking about him going into the top 10 picks. I can't believe they'd let an injury affect him that much. Unless they got a bad report on him at the combines or something.
I don't know. It befuddled me when I saw that. I was like, you gotta be kidding me. Out of the 15 guys they expect to be drafted, he's the last one. And I thought there ain't no way, man. That guy's at least a 5th round pick, at least. Like that's
Well,
gonna be.
I notice when I get all these analysts, Kuiper and all them guys, they mention those 3 quarterbacks, but I don't hear them saying much about Will Howard. Is he going to go in the 2nd or 3rd round or what?
He had a really bad combine. Let's see how he does in his pro day in a couple weeks. I think the pro.
Yeah, I know. I didn't think he threw very good, but
No.
he didn't have his receivers. It seemed like once he missed a couple throws, he kind of got nervous where the guys were going with the routes.
Yeah, he didn't
A
throw
lot
well.
of times that's got to do with your if you got like at the pro day when he can have his regular receivers throw at him, I think he'll throw better. And I'm hoping he runs a pretty good 40, and maybe he'll go back in the 2nd round.
Yeah, I hope so too. That's my hope. But he's gonna be.
And then we got Henderson, and I love him. He's a big Christian guy. I hope he goes in the 2nd round. And our 2 defensive tackles, I'm hoping they go. I haven't heard much. I heard on the guy with the 88-yard recovery. What's his name?
Oh, say that again.
Our defensive tackle. The one that ran the 88-yard return back for a kick touchdown.
88-yard. Oh, you talking about Jack Sawyer, defensive end?
Jack Sawyer,
Yeah.
but what's the name of the other guy?
Oh, JT Tuimoloau, JTT.
I haven't heard much about him. They say Jack Sawyer ought to go in the 2nd round, but I haven't heard much about him. Is he going to go in the 2nd round
Second
too,
or
what?
third. Second or third is what they're calling. Yeah.
Yeah.
So. Yeah, that's what they're saying. But listen, at the end of the day, all I want is for someone to take a flyer on Josh Fryer or G. Scott Jr. and we get 16 guys drafted so we can break Georgia's record. Georgia and LSU sitting there at 15 guys each. Ohio State, I think Ohio State's had 15 one time as well. I would love to see Ohio State get 16 guys drafted so we can break that record and we can rub that in Georgia's face. Rub that in Michigan's face. Anytime I can rub their face in anything, I'll take that opportunity to do it.
Yeah, I tell you, even if they don't get drafted, remember Kurt Warner was an undrafted quarterback, and he owes the Pro Football Hall of Fame. You just never know. There are only 7 rounds. Look at Bart Starr, but way back in the day, he was highly. I don't know, 13th or 14th round, Johnny Unitas, all these guys, they miss on a lot of guys you don't think they're, because there's only 7 rounds now anyway, but there used to be 20, 30 rounds.
I know.
Back in the day, you
know. I know, yeah. It's crazy.
So they didn't know, they were guessing way back then, they're still guessing. Because you can't gauge somebody's heart how much they're going to be dedicated for this, money and
or how much?
opportunity.
Yeah, how
You know
much?
what I'm saying?
How do you gauge? How do you gauge how money's going to change a man? Right? Like, how do you determine that? I guess NIL can help a little bit with that these days, but you know what I mean? Like, you
Well,
go.
even in college, we talk. Like we had those 2 tackles who were 5-star defensive tackles, but they didn't really come into their own until we got this playoffs thing going. A lot of times those guys are 5-stars, and Michigan had a bunch of guys that were 2 or 3-star players, and I don't know how the hell they got them playing so good. Even with the 12 players they had out, I'm worried about next year. Are we going to be able to beat them again with the way the way they were all over the Alabama receivers and everything? I mean, how do they keep doing that every year? That's what I don't understand. 4 years in a row. I really think we lost the games up front, all 4 years, but I also think that their defensive backs seem like they know our routes all the time for 4 years.
Ray,
Have you ever noticed that?
we lost this game this year, Ray, between our ears, and I mean the coaching staff too. They lost it between their ears, man.
I know.
And it's a shame.
But have you noticed that if you go back to those 4 years looking over their routes, it seemed like they were always jumping our routes.
Yeah, they knew
where we were going to be.
They knew our plays.
Where we were going to go.
They
with
knew
the
our
ball.
plays in 2021 and 2022, 2023. You know, now 2024 is.
Oh yeah, you mean the cheating scandal?
Yeah, they knew what we were running, right?
Yeah. But what happened to last year? I still don't understand why we couldn't get the ball. But like you said, we had a terrible game plan.
We did.
Once we started playing like we were capable of in the playoffs, you see what happened.
Yep, exactly. And that's how we should approach the game this year. We should go in that thing just like we did against Tennessee, against Oregon. You throw the football, you jump out on them, you get a lead, you force them to play your style of game instead of you trying to play their style. Like you've got these sports cars, race them, use them, you know? Quit trying to play demolition derby.
Take no prisoners.
That's right, man. Step on their throats, dude. Don't be afraid of them either, man. Like I feel like they're in our head a little bit, man. Don't be afraid of them.
All right. Have a good night, OH.
I buddy. Appreciate you. I'm pretty sure Ray just said he wants to do his own show on the OHO podcast. Did you all catch that? He said make the Ray the Living Legend show. That'd be wild, wouldn't it? That'd be wild. Oh, let's see who this guy's going to call in as tonight. I've heard it all from him. Well, who are you tonight?
Hello.
Cornholio.
What's up, my Podfather?
What's going on, Speed Man?
Well, I'll tell you what, you tell me, and we will both discuss it and get on down the road.
All right, man. Well, Notre Dame is trying to convince themselves that they actually were better than Ohio State, some of them in their fan base. That's going on tonight. You've got a quarterback who hasn't taken one snap in college football proclaim that our program apparently is finished because he is going to the rival school. You have that going on. You got 15 guys who are going to be drafted in the NFL draft who are from Ohio State, and if we could get one more, we'll break that record. Those are some of the things we've talked about tonight. We've talked about Jelani Thurman. We've talked about C.J. Hicks. So what you want to talk about, Speed Man? We talk about any of those things, or we talk about whatever you want.
Well, I know it's a deep subject. Well,
yeah.
But anyways, hey, I'll tell you what. The C.J. Hicks will fill in quite nicely as a defensive end / what do you call it? The bullet / whatever.
Yeah.
He will be the Cordell Stewart of the defense. Because I tell you what, you send that kid in there to search out a quarterback, he is not only going to find him, he is going to land him.
So it's interesting to hear people talk about CJ Hicks because you've got another podcaster who did an entire show on him, who I will not name, who basically took a dump all over the young man. Um, you have fans like TG who are offering us a plan for him, which I thought was fantastic. And then you got people like you who believe he's this untapped potential, and if you put him in the right place, he's gonna shine. Um, it is an interesting topic amongst Buckeye Nation to get everybody's feelings about CJ Hicks. I'm just going to be honest with you. Here's a little some of the things I've been thinking about. Sometimes, Speedman, I think when you put stars on a high school player, you're doing him a disservice. He's a 5 star. He's a 4 star. He's only a 3 star. And then 2, 3 years down the road, 5 stars are 3 stars, and 3 stars are 5 stars, and 4 stars, well, they can be anything, right? Like sometimes kids they just haven't developed all the way yet. And sometimes some kids have already tapped out and they're in high school, and when they get to college, they never pan out, right? I think
Yep.
CJ Hicks was 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 given a disservice by being kind of labeled a 5 star can't miss prospect, right? I've heard from several people who follow high school football. In fact, I actually talked to someone who went to all of his high school games, and he flat out told me, he goes, Eric, I don't get the 5 star thing with him. Is he good? Yeah, he's incredibly athletic, but he's not a 5 star. Um, so I don't know, man. Like sometimes you'll put stars on somebody, and you're really just doing them a disservice because you're putting these unfair expectations on them.
Yeah, I can totally respect where you come from, brother. And let's just remember that we're putting these stars on these kids in high school at a position that is totally different in college. Now, I'm not going to say that C.J. Hicks was the greatest linebacker or safety or anything like that or whatever, but I will say when we put him in there and he rushed up the middle, whatever the blitz was, that kid shined. I think not. It's not about the stars. You and I have talked about that a million times, but let's get real and let's utilize that kid, with his talent.
Yeah, he's got a ton of talent. Listen,
Yeah.
Speedman, he's got gifts that only God can give you. You know what I
Hmm.
mean? Like
Oh yeah.
as much as I want to be able to run and hit like him, it was never going to happen, right? I just God didn't give me his gifts, right? Um, and sometimes it just takes time. Like I don't know, like why give up on a kid because well, he hasn't shown it in 3 years. So what? Sometimes it's year 4. Sometimes it might be year 5. You know, when a kid Will Howard wasn't all that good. Will Howard just won a national championship. You think Kansas State wished they wouldn't have given up on the guy? Kansas State
Yeah.
literally gave
Man.
up on Will Howard. They chose another quarterback over Will Howard. Will Howard led this offense to a national championship in year number 5 in college.
Yep. And like I said, it's all about the development. You can take a 5 star kid, bring him in here, and he might not uh, make a play on the field. And you could take a 3 star or a 2 star, and that kid will absorb everything that you put in front of him
Mm-hmm.
and become that All American.
Yeah,
I've
Speedman. Do
seen it
you
a
remember?
million times.
Do you remember what James Laurinaitis' star ranking was? Do you remember?
He was a 2 star.
He was a low 3 star. Like,
Oh,
like
yeah.
I don't even think Minnesota was recruiting him. And that dude was a 3-time All-American linebacker. Went on to be an All-Pro in the NFL, right? That's why
Yep.
I don't always look at, like a player's development or their arc, their story arc if you're into movies. Every player's development is different, right? Um,
Yes,
so
sir.
so I agree with TG. I wish maybe the coaches would have maybe seen this earlier and gotten him on the defensive line earlier so that he could have had more development there. But I mean, Larry Johnson's got his paws on him now. He's Larry's project. So they're entrusting Larry Johnson with the remainder of his career. So we'll see what happens with them. I'm like Minnesota. Show me. I want to see it. I'm rooting for the kid. I'm rooting for him, dude. I want to see him. I want to see him succeed so he can prove a lot of people right and shut a lot of people up.
Yeah. No, I am so there with you. You got to meet the young man and stuff. And it's not that doing the whole Homer thing and all that stuff, but I believe you meant to say not Minnesota, but you're Missouri, the Show Me State.
Well, well, well. I did I get him. Did I get him crossed up there? Because I was talking about James Laurinaitis. He was from Minnesota. I might have got him crossed up
Yeah,
there.
yeah, a little bit. It's all right, brother. Hey, I got you, man.
What is Minnesota? If Missouri's the show me state, what's Minnesota?
The Gopher State.
The Gopher State, is it?
It's the land of a thousand
Land of a
lakes.
thousand lakes. There it is. That's it. There you go.
Oh my gosh, there's Mika.
Yeah.
Hey, Miss Mika, how you
Mika,
doing?
Mika, Mika in the house.
Well, like I said, you know, um, as I remember, let's talk about some kids we recruited there not too long ago. One named Cade Stover, who we recruited as a linebacker.
Mm-hmm.
And then we had this other kid named Steele Chambers, who we recruited as a running back.
Right.
You know, I mean, these kids have so many talents and all that. I think it comes back down to development, and these kids and their heart and their willingness to do what it takes to win.
I agree. I agree with you on that. Um, yeah, 100%, dude. Yeah, those are two great examples you just gave. Cade Stover, linebacker to defensive end, back to linebacker to tight end. That was his player arc. And then Steele Chambers was running back to linebacker, like you said. And both of them in the NFL. I'll just say that. Both of them made it to the NFL. Now I think Kate Stover got a contract where Steele had to he's had to like work his way onto a roster, and I don't know if he's still on the practice squad or not, but just to get invited to the NFL to be on a practice squad is pretty impressive if you ask me. But yeah, those are two great examples, Speed Man. Well done, man.
Well, thank you, sir. Just uh, what they say on the just the facts, man. I
That's
try
right.
to put that stuff out there. We've got some of the greatest fans, and with you guys as podcasters, can't thank you enough. There's Steely Matt. Oh my gosh, that dude, he's awesome. The chat we have is just unrivaled. Um, everybody's incredible, and I want to thank you, the Podfather, for hosting us each and every Thursday night.
Oh man, you're welcome, brother. I appreciate that. I enjoy interacting with Buckeye Nation, man, so much. I'm really looking forward to meeting a lot of you during the spring game. I refuse to call it a spring spectacle or spring showcase or whatever the heck they're calling it this year. I'm still calling it the spring game just because I'm old like that. But I'm really looking forward to meeting a lot of you at our spring tailgate, man.
Yeah, absolutely. But not too long before that, it was called the Scarlet and Gray game.
It was,
So
yeah.
I'm still calling it that.
There you go, man. That's right. That's right. Oh, what else you got
Okay.
tonight, Speed Man?
I just want to introduce you to my wife, Ann.
Hi,
She
Ann.
wants to say hello real quick.
Hello.
Hi, Ann. How are you?
I'm wonderful.
Now,
We listen to you all the time. And so, yeah, my husband is a huge fan, as you know. So, yeah.
Ann, you sound
Thank
like
you for being there.
a sweet lady, Ann.
I am. Me and my
Oh,
grandpa played for High State.
get out of
So I'm a
here.
huge High State fan. Yeah.
Yep.
And
What was his
30,
name?
38, Fred Crow Sr.,
yeah.
number 23,
Yep.
played in 38, 39, I think 40 as well.
Yep.
He was an All-American for Ohio State.
Yeah.
What was his
And
name
so
again?
all my family, we buy them jerseys. You know, they have jerseys for Christmas. You know, we wear them proudly.
What was his name again, sweetheart?
Oh.
Fred Crow Sr.
Fred Crow Sr. I'm going to look him up. Awesome.
Yep.
That's
You can go to Buckeyes.com, look up number 23. You will find Fred Crow.
I'm doing it right now, actually.
Go on with your bad self.
Very cool. Very cool. Now, are you both going to be coming to the Scarlet and Game spring game tailgate?
Oh, freaking brother.
Cool.
Yeah, we're both excited to come up there.
Awesome. More the merrier. We're gonna have a great time. It's gonna be fun. Every year our spring tailgate tailgate, if you will, party has grown a little bit more. When we first started out, we had about 15 people. Last year we ended up with close to 50 showing up from before and after the game. We'll have some former Buckeyes. Mike Wargo will be there signing autographs, meeting all of you guys. You get a picture, get an autograph. I think Ryan's going to try to swing by as well. Maybe some of his teammates from the 96 Rose Bowl team. We're going to try our best to get as close to the shoe as we possibly can. I'm going to try my very best to get in the parking lot there right next to the shoe and get a couple places to tailgate. We'll see. They usually don't let you do that during spring gaming. You just got to go before the butt crack of dawn and just find you a spot as close as you can. And if we do, we're going to try to get next to the sidewalk next to French Field House so that those folks, as they walk to the shoe, if you park on the north campus, you're walking to the shoe, you'll walk right by the tailgate. So that's the plan. That's what we're trying to do. We'll let everybody know when we get closer to the spring game where we're hopefully going to be. So, any last thoughts, Speedman, before we head on out of here?
Well, yeah, speaking about getting up in the butt crack of dawn and all that stuff, I think you should send the wild man at like 2:00 in the morning to reserve our space at the spring game. What do you say, bro?
Hey, listen, him and I last year we got up at 5 a.m. and went. And we were not the first ones there, I promise you. There was other people there. And it was like, you gotta be kidding me. But yeah, we will do our best. We will have listen, and what we'll do is we'll post pictures on all our social media sites, Twitter, Facebook, etc. We'll let everybody know exactly where we are located so that when you're coming in and you're coming to the game, you'll know exactly where we're at. And then we tailgate before, we tailgate after too. So we'll have some donuts and stuff and juice for breakfast, and then we grill hot dogs afterwards. And we literally sat in the parking lot for 3 hours after the tailgate, after the spring game, just tailgating and having a good time with everybody. It's a lot of fun.
Man, that sounds amazing. I cannot wait come up there and meet all y'all.
Sounds good, brother, man. Appreciate you calling in.
No problem. Thanks for having me, brother.
All right, have a good night. Thanks for letting me meet your wife. Can't wait to meet you guys in person.
Yeah, no problem. It was a pleasure to meet your wife there a few weeks before and all that stuff. Obviously, we both have wives that are prettier than what we deserve.
That's amen to that. Hey, listen, Speedman, I'll tell you a quick story. Okay, uh, um,
Go ahead.
I used to sell furniture for a living. I was a furniture salesman, and my manager, one time, I told him, "Hey, my wife's going to come into the store, and today," and when she walked in, he looked at me sideways. He goes, "I knew you were a good salesman. I did not know you were that good of a salesman." it's good to
That
have
is,
charisma in your life. You know what I mean?
yeah, well, absolutely. I don't know that I have charisma or anything like that or whatever. Just, try to be the best person that I can be every day. And luckily, I have the most wonderful wife in the whole world.
Hey man, brother. Hey, listen, I know my wife's a saint to have to put up with me in this podcast. Trust me.
Yeah, amen. Yes, amen. And God bless her.
Exactly. Amen to that. Oh, that's fantastic, man. Thanks for calling in, Speedman. Have a good night, brother. OH.
Yeah. I-O. See you guys. Good luck.
Go Bucks. Oh gosh, what a fun night this has been, everybody. I have I'm going to tell a quick story about Florida, and we're going to probably call it a night unless someone else calls in real quick. Apparently, the Notre Dame guy who was all up in my biz yesterday didn't want to show up tonight after he said he would. Um, like I said, he's probably a 12-year-old who didn't have the guts to call in. And by the way, chat, Burks was backing me up, man. Burks was backing me up. Mello was there. Mello was backing me up. I was backing Mello up. Mello, Burks, and myself were going. This guy was attacking us for no reason at all. I invited him to come on the show. I said, "You can call in. I will give you a platform to tell me why I am wrong. I will allow you to try to prove yourself. Call in. We'll discuss this as adults." But I go, more than likely you're a 12-year-old. And of course I was right. Once again, this is like the fourth time. The fourth time I've invited someone. I'm one of four. Caden the man is the only person to ever call in and say, "I'll call in." So, you know what? Kudos to Caden the man. He's got guts. He went from being a little boy to the man because he actually called in. And you know what he found out? I'm not a bad guy. I'm not a bad guy. In fact, I'm a pretty good dude. I think he likes me. I kind of like him too. He's grown on me. That's how it goes. Sometimes our first impressions aren't always right. It's kind of like my wife, first time she met me. I'm sure her first impression of me is not what she thinks of me today. Hopefully she thinks better of me. I don't know. You have to ask her. She's in the chat tonight. Um, yeah, Steely Matt says, "I watched that chat, Eric. He was saying some very stupid stuff." Yeah, he was, man. Mello called him out. Burks called him out. And finally I was like, "All right, dude, just call into my show. Call in. We'll talk about it." You know, it is what it is. Aaron, thank you so much, dude. For by the way, his profile picture is of the plaque he sent me. He sent Chris and I one. I got it. I'm gonna put it on the wall here, and I think I might put some hooks in it, some little hooks, and hang some Buckeye necklaces from it. That's what I think I might do here in the office. But thank you so much, Aaron, for sending that to us. I appreciate that. Some quick notes for all of you guys um, before we call it a night here. Um, we have a very special show coming your guys' way. Um, so this is year number 6. Oh, Actually, Sarah, if you can hear me, can you bring one of those upstairs? They're downstairs in a box down there. Can you bring one of those plaques up so we can show everybody, honey, please, if you don't mind? Um, I don't have my phone, or I would text her real fast, but uh, I think she's still in the chat and is still listening to the program. So, maybe she can do that real fast for us, guys. Um, so this is year number 6 for us here at the OHIO podcast, and so we are going to have, and listen to this, guys. Episode number 500 of our audio podcast is coming up as well. So what we decided to do, Chris and I decided to do, we're going to do a very special episode 500 6-year celebration show for everybody. We're going to work out the schedule here. It's going to be this month, probably near the end of the month, in a week or two. And we're going to try to get a very special guest on, and we're going to have a fun night that night, and we're going to have a great time. Hopefully we can get Mello and Devin to show up real quick for us. I want Aaron, my original co-host, to come on if he can. Um, so, hey, there's Sarah. Hey, Sarah, can you bring up that plaque real fast for me, babe? That Aaron sent us. There's 2 of them downstairs in the kitchen. Can you bring one up to me real fast, baby? So, anyways, we're gonna have a very special episode number 500 6-year celebration show. So be on the lookout for that. We're gonna try to include you, the chat. We might do a real quick call-in show with that show. Have a special guest. We'll let all of you know what that is. Also, our Sunday night shows are filling up fast. Um, so I was hoping to have guests every single week, and we've achieved that so far, which has been great. We've got Clint Boring from the Inside the Pylon podcast coming up this Sunday. Brandon Little from the uh, A to Z Sports editor. He's coming on. He covers the Buckeyes. Miles Holiday, who is the host of the Out of Bounds show on 93.1 ESPN in Lima, Ohio. He is going to be coming on at the end of March. And then on the 6th of April, you heard it, TG from the Buckeye Boys. She will be on with us. That is the next 4 Sunday night shows, guys. So make sure that you all are checking out that as well. Real fast here before I show you Aaron's what he sent us. $1.99 super chat from Speedman. The OHIO podcast rocks. OH. Awesome. Appreciate that very much. Also, we had a super chat earlier today. I want to pull that up real fast as well from Bootzilla. $5 super chat. Thank you, Bootzilla. He said in the great quote by Pete Weber, Ohio State says to the TTUN, "What do you think you are? I am." There you go, man. Appreciate that. This was sent to us from Aaron. We got 2 of these. Beautiful. These things are huge, by the way. Massive, right? To quote a podcast that I know, everything's massive. These things are huge. They're beautiful. Aaron, if you're still on, man, maybe you can. Are you able to make these and send these out if people purchase them? Are these for sale? If they are, um, let me know, Aaron, and maybe we can get you some business tonight. These are great. He autographed the back for me. I love that. Yeah, he said yes, they're for sale. So Aaron in the chat, if you guys want these are so nice, man. They are so nice. And I'm gonna put mine, and they've got two little hooks here, so you can just nail it, put some nails in the wall. And they can sit right on there. I'm thinking about putting mine right in there, somewhere in there, because I got this one at Christmas, so I got I got 2 of these bad boys now. So thank you very much, Aaron. I appreciate that. He says he only has Facebook or email. Aaron, feel free to put your email in the chat if you don't mind, if you want to, so that people got your email, and then you can email Aaron and get yourself one, man. They're great. They're beautiful. Um, there was one other thing I was gonna say. Now I forget. Sunday night show, 8 o'clock Eastern. Don't miss it. Monday night, Chris's call-in show, 8 o'clock. We got the special show coming up for all of you. I think that's it. There was something else, but I forget it. I forget it all. All right. That being said, thank you so much, everybody. Appreciate each and every single one of you. Thank you for all the callers that called in tonight. Be kind to one another. I owe someone's OH. Sing Carmen, Ohio with all your heart. Till next time, guys, you know what to do. OH. Go Bucks.